Hi there, this is Mr. Angove and welcome to our virtual physical education lessons. It's a different way of doing things and it's a challenge. So at Cole we can take challenges on and we like that, so here we go. This is a once a week lesson and we want to make it as stress-free for you all, parents and students, as possible. And what it is, it's a fitness log. And me and Mrs. Walters, we're going to post this fitness log, and I'll get a little closer. And we're going to post this onto Class Dojo, and you can reply using your portfolios on Class Dojo. Now, if you can't print this out, please don't worry. You can just write on a piece of paper your results. So if I can come in closer, you'll be able to see this online. I'm just going to try and give you instructions of how to do the exercises safely in this video. So I don't want to keep it too long because I don't want to bog you all down with it. But if you see, exercise number 1 is jumping jacks. So what you do is you do jumping jacks for 1 minute and then you write your score down here. And you don't need to worry about this column for this week because this is for future weeks when you compare against your previous week's score, so you can set yourself some challenges to see if you can beat them. So you exercise for 1 minute. So if you, hopefully you can have something to time that with, and then write your score down and then take a 2-minute rest. Exercise for 1 minute, rest for 2, and there's 10 exercises. So in total, it takes about 30 minutes to do this. On the other side, like I said, if you can't print this out, please don't worry about that. You can just write down on a piece of paper your answers and then take a photo of that and post that onto Class Dojo, your portfolio for each classroom, because then that's how we're going to be able to get in there and see that you did the work. So there's just some questions on here that you'll be able to see. This is a chart of how hard do you think you worked. So there's no right or wrong answer. This is your own interpretation. If you think you worked so hard and you did the best you can, then that's a 10. If you put no effort in at all, well, that's a 1. But what we should be aiming at is somewhere around a 7 if you can. So a 7 on here is hard activity. And me and Mrs. Walter didn't want to give you some random activities each week. We wanted to give you something that would really help you grow in fitness and give you something with targets that you can improve on. So hopefully it keeps you interested for the amount of weeks that we're going to be doing this for, which we do not know yet. So we'll just keep going. So what I'm going to do is I've talked long enough. I'm going to show you safely how to do each of the 10 exercises. The exercises will stay the same each week. The questions will change. Just this is your thinking, okay? We're gonna quickly write down to check in on you each week just to make sure that you've done the work, and just do the best you can. Please do not stress about it, okay? If you struggle on some of these, I'll show you some modifications, but please do not worry. Just do the best you can. And with the questions, it's just to get you thinking. There's no right or wrong answer. It's your answer. Okay. So anyway, let me get back here and show you some of the exercises, so I don't want to keep you too long. Exercise number 1 is jumping jacks. So the most important thing about this, and the way we designed this circuit, is so that there's no weights, no equipment, and you can do this in a small space. So you need to make sure that you have space where you can move around. It doesn't need to be huge, just a little safe space. And the floor, hopefully you've got a little bit of padding on there, because when we do the sit-ups, you don't want to be on hard concrete. Jumping jacks. Straight up and down, the normal jumping jacks we do. Okay? Start in and then out. Not too many ways to modify that. You could just do the legs, jumping jack, and keep your score. So it's 1, 2, 3. With all of the exercises, it's not about speed, it's about quality. So don't try and do them too fast, because that's not a good way to do any of the exercises. Steady and controlled, especially for things like sit-ups and push-ups. Very, very steady, very controlled, okay? So the numbers may build over the weeks, they may not. It's your choice. So jumping jacks, straightforward. Number 2, push-ups. Your fingers are forward, your shoulders are over your wrists, feet are back, and it's lower down so your nose is just off the floor, and then raise. 1, 2. And you see, I'm not rushing. We don't want to be rushing. We don't want to be bouncing. No, down and up. Now, modification of this is to drop the knees. Here, down, no, 1, down, no, 2. Do not worry about what your number is. Just do the best that you can. Sit-ups. This is the one where we want to make sure where we're really not on a hard floor. I'm on a carpeted floor here. What we do is make sure that we don't grab behind the head because we don't want to be yanking on the neck. Hands across the chest, back, and then raise, nice and controlled so your elbows are touching just under the knees. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and controlled, not speedy. We don't want anyone getting hurt. Okay, I like to do a modification of this where I do this. I do this so I don't have to grab the back of my head, and it keeps me balanced, and also with my feet elevated off the floor, it really works the lower part of the abdomen, the abdominal muscles there as well. So that's a harder modification for you, but you can work like this. And if you need someone to hold your feet, go ahead, experiment. High knees, number 4. The way I was thinking of counting these is like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Instead of 1, 2, 3. Just every time a knee comes up, count 1. And if I turn sideways, the knee comes up, so it's pretty much a 90-degree angle there, a right angle. So your knees really are getting up there. So this is 1 minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. That's a tough one for a minute. And right down the squat. Squat jumps. Feet forward. I usually keep my hands around here for balance, anywhere there. Bend down. I've got a low ceiling here, so I have to watch out. 1, 2, 3, and so on. If you don't want to add the jump, 1, 2, 3. And if I turn sideways, 1, 2. So not like this. Remember, they're your numbers, they're for you, they're to help you develop some improvement in physical fitness that we can do at home with no equipment whilst we're all inside at home right now. Tricep dips, number 6. Put my hands, fingers again forward. I didn't want to use any equipment. I could have had a chair, but I don't want anyone falling off anything. Keep it as safe as possible on the floor, hands forward, raise up, and then all I'm doing is I'm bending at the elbows. I'm pretty much keeping everything else still. So it's 1, 2. Again, I'm not bouncing. No, everything's under control. When everything's steady and under control, the muscles are working much harder than if you're bouncing because you're using momentum there. If you're going slow and steady, muscles are engaged all the time. Mountain climbers. I haven't done this one for a while. So if I go side on, we start with 1 knee up, 1 knee back. We switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep your head up, don't duck, because you could accidentally catch yourself with your knee, and we don't want to do that. So it's almost like a push-up position, but you bring 1 knee up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. Whew. Modifications to that, there's not really too many modifications that I can think of. Just keep it nice and steady and under control. Okay? We've got 3 left. Switch jumps, or line jumps as we call them in our phys ed lessons. So these are the ones where sometimes they call them cross-country skiing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't need a line on the floor. Please don't go drawing lines on the floor. Just imagine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice and controlled. Plank jacks. Plank what? Plank jacks. We're going into there's a couple ways you can do this. I'll show you a modification. Down into plank position. Feet go out and in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I show you front one, hopefully you can see this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Modification to that is go up into the full push-up position. 1, 2, 3, 4. As we go on through the weeks, we'll look at what muscles we're using for which exercise. But right now we just want to get this rolling and get you safely exercising. So that's plank jacks. And the last one, number 10, lunges. Whew, I'm out of breath. Lunges, I'll do this sideways so you can see a little easier. Take a lunge forward. So again, this 90-degree angle is coming back into play again. Arms are here for balance. It's 1, once you come back. 2, 3, under control. 4, 5, 6, and so on. So if I show you going forwards, 1, 2, everything's under control. If you want to challenge yourself, you can do lunge jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're not competing against anyone else. This is just you against you. Hopefully you can see improvement in yourself over the weeks doing this. And that really is it. So what you can do here is you have all your scores, you write them down, and at the bottom, total score. I just put that in just to see how it works. Just gonna add all the numbers, have a total score, and then just post that onto your portfolio. So you can write this down on a piece of paper, number 1 or 2, what the exercise is, what your score is, into your personal portfolio for yourself. On the back, question 1, you just need to write a number that matches you and then go through and just explain. And this really, the whole thing should take you no more than 40 to 45 minutes. A phys ed class is 40 minutes, once or twice a week, depending on when you have it. So this is 40 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes, once a week. So we're trying to match up with what we're doing in school as best we can. Now for future weeks, I have this here, score versus last week. Okay, so it's not applicable in week 1 because you've got nothing to compare it to. But say you did 25 jumping jacks here, okay, week 1. And then in week 2, you write down, I did, what did I say, 25 jumping jacks? So if you did 26, week 2, you would +1. Your score would go up 1. So there's a quick check on each exercise if you went up or down. If you go down, don't worry about it. There's many factors. Lack of sleep, what you eat, what your mood is, stress levels. There's many things that affect performance. And when we've done the PACER test in school, I've explained that a lot, how those things can get affected. At the bottom, add them all up. Have a total score. So here, for the next week, add them up. And then you've got, here, you'll have your score. I went up 10 in everything versus last week. If that's a little confusing, don't worry about it right now. It'll become clear as we do it, but if it's a little confusing, then you can just leave that alone. It's just a challenge for yourself each week. Did I improve? So you can have a look. 1 lesson a week, about the same time as what we would do in class. Do the best you can. Me and Mrs. Walter are going to be checking it all out on Class Dojo. We hope you all have a great week. We'll be posting it again next week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we really hope we get to see you guys as soon as possible. Okay? Have a great day, have a great week. See you next time.